Welcome to our show, Immigration Briefing. Today, we dive into some fascinating developments in the political landscape, starting with a remarkable shift in Rio Grande City, Texas. This predominantly Latino area has flipped from a Democratic stronghold to a Republican base for the first time in over 128 years. Economic concerns and job opportunities have swayed many residents to embrace their Republican identity, showcasing how political affiliations can evolve in response to community needs. Next up, we have an exciting discussion featuring Gen Z voices on immigration policies. A special episode of Rebellion Z engages young individuals in a vibrant conversation about how their views on border policies differ from those of previous generations. This dialogue not only sheds light on the progressive perspectives of today's youth but also highlights their potential to influence future immigration policies in the United States. Lastly, we explore Donald Trump's ambitious plans for mass deportations as he prepares for his second term. With intentions to utilize military bases for detaining migrants and a strong focus on expediting deportation processes, Trump's administration is gearing up for a significant shift in immigration enforcement. This move has sparked a mix of support and concern within communities, emphasizing the complexities surrounding immigration issues in America. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these intriguing topics. Telegraph reports on a remarkable political shift in Rio Grande City, Texas, a predominantly Latino town that has historically leaned Democrat for over a century. Ross Barrera, a retired Army colonel, once faced ridicule for his Republican beliefs, but now he stands proudly amidst a wave of support for Donald Trump. The town, which had not elected a GOP candidate in 128 years, flipped red in the recent election, marking a significant change in voter sentiment. With 97% of the population being Hispanic, the local Republican Party has seen a surge in support driven by economic concerns and a desire for change. Barrera's community hub has become a rallying point for local Republicans, symbolizing a newfound pride among residents in their political affiliations. Al Jazeera highlights the perspectives of Gen Z regarding immigration policies in the U.S. This generation is increasingly vocal and diverse in their views, reflecting a broader debate on how immigration should be handled. The discussion, part of a special election episode, emphasizes the generational divide in attitudes toward border policies, with many young people advocating for more progressive stances compared to older generations. The dialogue captures the urgency and complexity of these issues as today's youth prepare to shape the future of American politics and society. Spiegel discusses the decline of Western dominance and the rise of right-wing populism, epitomized by Donald Trump's election. The article reflects on how the post-World War II era, characterized by liberal democracy and social progress, is giving way to a new reality marked by division and nationalism. The failure of center-left parties to address the concerns of working-class citizens and the increasing perception of immigrants as threats have contributed to this shift. The piece argues that to revitalize liberal democracy, there must be a recognition that social issues are intertwined with economic and migration policies, advocating for a politics that is both rational and compassionate. Telegraph, Fabiola Francois, a 42-year-old Haitian migrant, faces imminent deportation from the U.S. following Donald Trump's election, which promises a mass expulsion of undocumented immigrants. Having arrived in Miami at 6 months old, Francois learned she was not a U.S. citizen only after her aunt passed away. Her turbulent upbringing in foster care led to a life of struggles, including drug use and criminal charges, making her a target under Trump's aggressive immigration policies. Trump's administration aims to deport millions, claiming a mandate from his electoral victory. This effort is expected to be extensive and costly, with estimates suggesting that deporting all undocumented migrants could reach $968 billion over a decade, impacting various sectors of the economy and potentially leading to labor shortages. For individuals like Francois, the threat of returning to Haiti, where she fears for her safety, adds a deeply personal dimension to the political turmoil surrounding immigration. New York Times. The return of Donald Trump to the presidency poses significant challenges for Europe, which is already grappling with economic stagnation and geopolitical tensions. European leaders acknowledge the need for strong leadership, particularly from France and Germany, yet both countries are facing internal political crises. Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany is dealing with a fractious coalition, while President Emmanuel Macron of France struggles with a divided parliament. The rise of populist and nationalist sentiments in Europe mirrors the political climate that enabled Trump's ascent in the U.S., fueled by public discontent over rising costs and immigration. As mainstream parties lose support, the potential for far-right parties to gain traction in upcoming elections raises concerns about the future of European unity and stability in the face of Trump's presidency. The Sydney Morning Herald, Victoria's government is advocating for an increase in the age limit for working holidaymakers from 30 to 50 years to alleviate critical labour shortages in the tourism sector. This move comes as the state seeks to attract more international workers amidst calls from the tourism industry for a broader pool of potential employees. The proposal includes expanding the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme and increasing eligible regional locations for working holidaymakers. However, the push for more low-skilled visas has drawn criticism from economists who argue it may exacerbate existing issues like housing shortages. As immigration becomes a crucial topic in federal elections, the Albanese government has been revising migration targets, aiming to reduce permanent visas while balancing the immediate labor needs of sectors like tourism. The Sydney Morning Herald reports on New Zealand Foreign Minister Winston Peters' strong criticism of the Australian government's COVID inquiry, labelling it a whitewash. Peters emphasised the importance of recognising the contributions of New Zealand migrants to Australia's economy, particularly in light of the tragic Christchurch massacre perpetrated by an Australian. He urged the Australian government to reconsider its plans to ease the deportation of New Zealand-born criminals, arguing that many have little connection to their birth country. Peters expressed his determination to ensure that New Zealand's investigation into the pandemic, which includes a royal commission, seeks the truth about the impacts of policies such as prolonged school closures. In a related story from The Telegraph, Donald Trump is preparing a controversial plan to detain migrants in military bases as part of his mass deportation strategy. Following his election victory, Trump's advisors are reportedly considering a national emergency declaration on his first day in office to facilitate the use of military resources for immigrant detention and deportations. This plan aims to target the estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States, with a particular focus on those with criminal records. Trump has dismissed concerns about the costs of this initiative, stating that the urgency of the situation overrides financial considerations. The Telegraph also highlights alarming statistics regarding foreign criminals entering the UK, revealing that hundreds of individuals convicted of serious crimes, including murder and rape, have exploited loopholes in the visa system. Police data indicates that over 700 foreign nationals with serious convictions have been allowed into the UK in recent years, often due to self-declaration practices that fail to adequately screen applicants. High-profile cases, such as those of Michael Podlasczyk and Vytautas Jokubauskas, underscore the risks posed by these weaknesses in the immigration system. Calls for reform, including the introduction of an electronic travel authorization system, have emerged as lawmakers seek to prevent known criminals from roaming the streets of Britain. Associated Press reports that one of the 8 migrants sent to Albania for processing has returned to Italy due to being deemed vulnerable. The Egyptian man, diagnosed with psychic problems, could not remain at the Jeddah reception center. Currently, 7 migrants, including 5 from Bangladesh and 2 from Egypt, are still at the center. This transfer is part of a controversial agreement between Italy and Albania, allowing up to 3,000 migrants intercepted in international waters to be sheltered in Albania each month. Critics argue this deal undermines international laws and poses a risk to migrants' safety, especially given that many migrants from countries deemed unsafe may face deportation. The New York Times highlights the impact of Donald Trump's return to the political scene on potential migrants, particularly those from Venezuela. Daniel Garcia, a delivery worker in Colombia, had planned to embark on a journey to the United States but is now hesitating due to fears that he might be turned away under a Trump administration. His story reflects the broader anxiety among migrants who are reconsidering their plans in light of Trump's hardline stance on immigration, which has reverberated across the region, prompting officials in Mexico to prepare for a possible surge in migrant arrivals before the inauguration. CBC discusses the implications of new immigration rules in Canada, which are causing concern among international students at the College of New Caledonia in British Columbia. Changes to the post-graduation work permit program mean that many graduates from public colleges may not qualify for work permits unless they studied in fields with identified labor shortages. This uncertainty has left students like Holiness Ozumba feeling disheartened, as they had hoped to build their futures in Canada. Local business leaders are also alarmed, fearing that the new regulations will hinder their ability to attract skilled workers, negatively affecting the region's economy and workforce. The situation underscores the tension between immigration policy and the needs of local communities reliant on international talent. CBC reports that Mohawk College is facing a staggering projected deficit of $50 million for the 2025 to 2026 academic year, primarily due to a significant drop in international student enrollment. President Paul Armstrong indicated that this financial strain would likely lead to layoffs across all employee groups, including faculty, support staff, and administrative personnel. The college has already seen a decline in international enrollments from 7,309 in fall 2023 to just 6,166 this past fall, with a drastic reduction in applications as well. Union representatives expressed deep concern over the future of programs and the well-being of students, highlighting a pervasive atmosphere of anxiety among staff as they brace for potential cuts and increased workloads. The Independent highlights the aftermath of Donald Trump's recent election victory, which has stirred a mix of jubilation and trepidation across the nation. With Republicans gaining control of the House and Trump preparing for his return to the Oval Office, he has appointed Susie Wiles as his chief of staff and is reportedly considering reappointing Tom Homan, known for his controversial immigration policies. As the nation grapples with the implications of Trump's return, disturbing incidents of racism and hostility have emerged, including threatening messages targeting Black communities. Amidst this backdrop, the abortion pill provider Aid Access experienced a surge in demand, causing their website to crash as women rushed to secure medication in anticipation of potential restrictions under a Trump administration. Telegraph examines the shifting political landscape in the UK following Trump's election, suggesting that the Conservative Party may find inspiration in Trump's strategies to appeal to ethnic minority voters. With a notable shift among Hispanic voters in the US towards Trump, there is speculation that similar dynamics could play out in British politics. The article discusses how the Conservative Party, under leaders from minority backgrounds, might leverage economic concerns and a rejection of woke politics to attract voters traditionally aligned with the left. As the political environment evolves, there are indications that ethnic minority voters in the UK are increasingly prioritizing economic issues over identity politics, potentially reshaping future electoral outcomes. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning sunlight on the street, city whispers soft and sweet, faces mix in daily grind, every story intertwined, cultures blend like colors bright, languages in the silent night, on the table stories told, food and feast upon so bold, people living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society in rhythms beat, entertainment's fleeting heat, echoes of ours and fears, laughing through our unseen tears, children playing in the park, drawing dreams till after dark, elders speak of days gone by, washing shadows from the sky. People living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society